Hey there, welcome to day 1173 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. What's working, what's not, what's happening, what's hot, what's the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. What I'm doing every day, and every day for a lot of reasons. Number one, I am absolutely positively visually challenged. Not just how I look, but how I see. I've been legally blind for a couple of years now, which adds to my personal challenges. Other people don't know, other people don't need to know, but it means there's different things that I need to do that other people don't. Mainly get somebody to do my makeup, I think, and hair, but that's going to be coming in the near future because I definitely need a little help in that department. But that's the kind of thing that I need that other people would not even have to consider. Each of our journey, and part of what I remind myself every day is, number one, don't compare yourself to others. I didn't really compare myself to others that much in the offline world, but in the online world, for some reason, I was following and watching other people and what they were doing, and gurus and people that I would see and think, oh my gosh, how come they're so successful at this particular strategy or thing, and I am bombing at it. I'm not getting any traction. And we do that a lot. We compare ourselves to others, and the better job we do not doing that, the better job we are at doing and being ourselves, the faster and easier not only our business is, whether it's online or offline, but our life is as well. And the more fun and enjoyable it is. Big lesson learned. You have to be yourself. I was on a coaching call yesterday where we talked about having a piece of your personality in your conversations and the way you attract people, and being who you are is what attracts people to you. And that's something that I like to say, what you see is what you get. I mean, WYSIWYG, I'm a WYSIWYG is what I tell people. You know, what you see is what you get. And there's a lot of me out there. There's a lot of videos out there over the last few years that I've produced. And so I find it really fascinating when people, you can tell if there's people, me personally, I can tell if there's people I want to work with or not, or do things with, based on how I'm going to say lazy, and this is kind of judgmental, but how lazy they appear to be. Because there's still every day, every single day on social media, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, I don't follow most of my other networks. LinkedIn is my primary. Facebook is I can do free videos and record on Facebook, so I like Facebook and Facebook groups and things. But those are my two primary modes of communication. And of course, email and snail mail and all kinds of other things we do as a person, a human, a business person, and a marketer. But I find it fascinating that every day, still on those two platforms, because I pay attention to them, how many, you get friend requests, and then you get hit up immediately with a sales pitch. And I know there's gurus out there teaching that, otherwise people wouldn't be doing it. People don't just make up, oh, I'm just going to sales pitch everybody I want, or I come in contact with, or who is kind enough to friend me on my thing. I think new people in business do that, or lazy people in business who don't want to learn how to really connect, have relationships, and share what it is that they have to offer with the right people. But the way you do that is through your personality. And like I said, if anybody wants to know anything about me, all they have to do is watch a couple of my videos, right? I think I've got probably 5,000 videos, maybe not 5,000, but at least last count 4,300 podcasts alone on my Pajama Grandma podcast. So you can listen to me, and in that there are traces of my personality throughout, and my thoughts and feelings and beliefs about things. I'm spewing those out every single day. But they won't even bother to find that out or look into anything about me or even check my profile. And granted, all of my profiles across social media are not consistent, are not branded. I haven't done any branding, and they're not the same, but you can see that you can learn something about me by that, right? You can learn that I'm not that good of a detailed person when it comes to consistent presentation across platforms. Can I hire somebody to do that down the road? Yes, and I'm sure I will. But am I going to do it? Probably not. Probably not going to do that. So was thinking about that in personality, and I'm like, I think my personality shows through, and my opinions and my beliefs show through in everything I do. I mean, if you meet me, I'm the same person in real life, although I might have a ponytail like I did yesterday instead of my hair fixed, and I might not have any makeup on because I might be walking in the park. But otherwise, my personality and who I am and who I show up as online is the same person as you see in my videos. I don't, put on a bunch of airs or act differently because I'm talking in my videos than I do in the real world. I learned that lesson. It was a really important lesson in my last job in corporate America. My last big career job in corporate America was with a company, and I had several. I've been in several different industries. I had several different jobs in different corporations. You know, all for like the 3 to 5 year period. Usually, I find that me personally, I can go into a position, a new industry in a company, and at the 3 year mark, I got to do something different. If I'm not going to get promoted by the time I've been somewhere for 3 years, then I'm out doing something different, looking for a different job in a different industry. And I learned early on in my career that one of the fastest ways to make quantum leaps in your income was by switching industries, because a lot of the skills and abilities we have in one industry are applicable to another industry. And I got huge bumps in my income by doing that. So I also learned that by my last job, we show up in life often, almost all of us, me included when I was younger, as the version of ourselves that people expect us to be. So in corporate America, I had suits of many colors. With my first corporate job, it was all black and navy. Then I went to a less regimented, less formal profession where I was actually the only woman in the organization. So I pretty much got to set the tone for what professional women looked like in that business and in that particular segment of that business and that industry, because I was one of the only women. And so I wore, and I incorporated color into my wardrobe because I was sick of the black and navy suit required in the previous career that I had, or previous industry I'd been in. And I set the tone for that. And then over time, I realized that at home I was being my mom self and who I really was. But at work, I wouldn't share all that. You know, females in corporate America, you don't share all your feelings, you don't be emotional, all the things that were expected in different cultures and different environments. And I realized that by the time I was interviewing for my final job, I was just going to go in there and be 100% myself. And that ended up being my absolute favorite job in corporate America as well, because I was just, what you see is what you get. This is what I think, this is what I feel, this is what I think and feel and believe based on my previous experience. This is what I'm bringing to the table. What you see is what you're going to get. And that's how I did the interviews. I had several interviews, you know, back as you move up the corporate ladder, you get all these different interviewing techniques and things. And I had the most fun, worked the hard, probably not worked the hardest. I worked really hard throughout my entire corporate year, worked really hard for that company because I felt a sense of such ownership and in the business was being who I really am. And it was the most fun. Took my kids to work with me sometimes because if I'd be working on a weekend and I was hanging out with my kids because my husband was busy or working, I would bring my kids to work. They would hang out in my office while I'd go do my thing. Sometimes I'd tour around the plant. We had a huge bakery, frozen and fresh bakery business that I worked for, and I would take my kids with me. I'd put them in a little hard hat and a helmet and hairnets and uniform them up, and I would take them around the plant with me, and I would teach them about what it was that I did and what we were doing in the business. And it was good for them and it was good for me. But I just was 100% myself. So I really enjoyed the personality discussion yesterday and how do you put different aspects of your personality into your business. And I think it's kind of the issue I have with the whole personal branding and professional and showing people the parts of you that you want them to see to attract more people like that to your business. I get it. I get it from a business standpoint, but I also think that it's very fake. And if your brand, your personal brand, and your personality parts that you're bringing into your business aren't really what you love and you're just picking it because you know it fits with your business, I think there's going to be a conflict, and I think it's going to actually repel people because people are going to sense that it's not the real you and that it is fake, which is part of my excuse for not picking brand colors or picking a personal brand or being a personal brand. I don't necessarily want to be a personal brand for my business because as soon as I become the brand, the attractive character, then I can't ever sell that business. I can't ever stop doing that business. It's 100% dependent on me. And I understand when you're starting out and until you get to be a certain size, that's fine. But I know so many business owners that have built their business 100% around themselves and their personality, especially in the online world, that when their interests change, when they grow and expand beyond what their initial thoughts were for that business, they have a challenging transition. It isn't impossible. You know, Dan Locke is doing the same thing. Dan Locke entered like pretty much the personal development world, made a fortune doing that, but he's always been doing businesses in the background. But everything that he does has been built on his brand, his coaching, his teaching. And now he's expanding out into doing different types of business deals and things because he knows that someday he wants to not have to work all the time, not be the face of his company. Another example is Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson and the ClickFunnels gang. ClickFunnels is a hundreds of millions of dollar company now because Russell Brunson was the attractive character. Well, you'll notice over the last year or so, Russell's been pulling himself out and putting other things and other systems and challenges and other people in place to replace him as the attractive character so that he can follow his other interests, the things that he wants to do besides just be the face of ClickFunnels. And so each and every one of us need to do that. So I love the discussion about adding parts of your personality. I like to think I do that, and that if people want to know who I am, it's pretty easy to figure out because what you see is what you get. But I also think that I, too, could do a better job of focusing on and paying more attention to things that are important to me that would attract my ideal customer more readily. So I learned a lot in the conversation, but I also, you know, like any other conversation, we have to take the pieces of it that apply to us and apply them, and then the pieces that don't are like, yep, that doesn't feel right to me. That feels a little off and fake. I'm not going to do it. Or how do I take this and make it not feel fake, make it be authentically 100% me? You know, I am 100% a grandma. I have dolls and toys in the background of my videos right now. My background's changed over the years and it will continue to change and morph because I'm not loving this. I haven't collected teddy bears, although people still give me teddy bears. Got this one for Valentine's Day from my sister. So, you know, and all of them, people give me bears and things all the time. But as I'm moving and transitioning and growing, they're not that important to me anymore. And the other coaching program I'm involved in is all about 100% show up professional. And so that, of course, for the pajama grandma is this huge dichotomy in belief system because, and I get that, people do make a snap decision, a snap judgment based on what they see immediately. And so how do we want to show up? How do we want to be perceived? I want to be perceived differently in the offline world when I'm doing different deals than I do in the online world. In the online world, I get to be 100% myself. Will the offline world and the online world catch up and see each other? Yeah, but then you know who I really am and what I really stand for. And I'm okay with that too because that's me and I want to be me. What else is going on? 365-day challenge today was about thank you notes, thanking people and sending thank you notes. Actually, I thank people every day, but I don't send through the mail thank you notes, especially since COVID. I've been terrible about that. So I committed that I will send 3 thank you notes today to people. I also, for our Get Up and Go challenge today, day 15, we're in the middle of our challenge today, just about, we're going to go 31 days, but day 15 to me is the midway point. We're just hopping into our second run through the SOAP framework, and we're doing relationships. Physical, we just finished, and we're doing relationships now. And relationship story, I got to talk about my imaginary friend, George, so that was fun. And my dad's imaginary friend, Albertson Roberts, I have no idea why he had an imaginary friend named Albertson Roberts, but he had a lot of sisters, so I kind of get that. Because George was kind of created because I have a lot of sisters too. And sometimes I wanted them out of my room and out of my space, so by pretending there was a ghost in the old house we moved into, and his name was George, and he lived in my closet. It kept my sisters out of my room when I didn't want them in my room. So, creative problem solving. I guess I've been a creative problem solver all my life. Our challenge, or our supersize your business idiom today, our expression was up to speed. And what is your favorite way to get up to speed? How do you get up to speed? How do you get the people that work for you up to speed? How do you share your expectations with them? How do you expect them to share their expectations with you? What is your preferred way of information? And I didn't even talk about this, but I wrote it down and then I forgot about it, was in corporate America, most of the jobs I worked in, you either had to do a weekly, sometimes a daily, but usually a weekly or a monthly report. And you'd send your monthly report up the corporate ladder, and everybody would see what you're doing, what your team was doing, what your organization was doing, what your projects were, what's working, what's not, what you needed resources for, etc. And we had actually structured weekly and monthly reports that we would do in most of my corporate jobs. In my own business, we did not do that. I had key performance indicators that I kept an eye on to know what I wanted, the things that were important to me. And those are the things I tracked and looked at. I didn't really track them. I just looked at them on a weekly, or I actually looked at them on a daily basis because it was easier for me to just scan things and see how they were trending by just quickly looking at the numbers every day. Most people don't need to do that. I just tagged it in my brain so I could pay attention to what way we were trending. It wasn't so I could micromanage. Although I've been a micromanager in the past, definitely. That's it. That's all I've got. That's what I'm working on. Working with 2 mentors, and one was the coaching call yesterday, and then today I've got some projects with the other. And that's it. That's all I've got. Any questions? Hit me up in the comments below. Thoughts about the whole SOAP framework, personalities. Do you show up as you when you show up in the world and in your work? I'm talking mostly in your professional, in your work world. And how do you feel about that? Do you judge unnecessarily that people won't like you or that you'll repel people, which is kind of the purpose, right? Be yourself so that you attract the people that you want to work with and you push away the people that would never want to work with you. There are people that would see my backdrop, see my face, and like just immediately cruise by and like, that woman's nuts. I'm never going to listen to anything she has to say. All right, that's it. Have an awesome day. I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.